Good afternoon, everybody. Eric with American Business Systems. Want to be one of the first ones to welcome you to our webinar this afternoon.
Folks, thank you for being on the webinar today. Are you looking to break away from your current job situation and be your own boss? Are you tired of someone else telling you what to do and how long to do it and when you can take a vacation? Or maybe you know you have the ability to earn more than you're currently earning by working smarter and not harder, but you just haven't found the right business, the perfect vehicle to reach that higher level of income that you're striving for. Well, you're in the right place at the right time. Hello, my name is Patrick Phillips, and I'm the right person to listen to for the next hour or so. Me and Eric, at least. I've changed the lives of hundreds of people from every possible background and educational status. I've taken people from every walk of life and helped them fulfill their dream of becoming their own boss. So, for the next few minutes, silence your cell phone, close your email, turn off the TV, stop watching those cat videos on YouTube, and if you have a cat, put it out. Yeah. And focus on what I have to tell you during this live webinar. And maybe, just maybe, you'll discover how you can make your dream come true as well. Maybe you want to travel while you can still enjoy it. Maybe you want to retire earlier than you had planned. Or maybe you want to put your children through college or help some of your loved ones financially. Or maybe you want to build that dream home by the lake, play more golf, or spend more time with your kids or grandkids. Whatever it is that you're looking for, folks, you can achieve it by being in control of your destiny. Now, let me give you a little secret here. 83% of all wealthy people in the United States got wealthy with the one secret I'm going to share with you on this webinar. Now, this has nothing to do with inheriting wealth. Most people don't have a rich aunt or uncle anyway that's about to pass away. And if they do, they're probably not their favorite niece or nephew, right? And if you think you're lucky and someday will win the lottery, your chances of that happening are about as good as being struck by lightning in the same spot 7 times. That's right. And unless you have the training and education to be a doctor or a lawyer or some other professional, your best bet is to do what that 83% did to build their wealth. Are you ready? Here's what most wealthy people did to get wealthy in the United States. They started and owned their own business. Yeah. Now, I've started dozens of businesses over the past 50 years. But the one business that helped me to make all my dreams come true for me and my family was the business that we're going to tell you about today. It's a very niche business that you've probably heard of, but maybe you never knew anyone personally that had made money with it. You'll be helping medical providers, doctors, and physicians in your area to collect more of the revenue that they've earned when seeing patients. Now, here's what I mean. You'll be accessing a cloud-based award-winning software system that we have to submit those claims to insurance companies and government agencies to help the doctors get paid more and to get paid a lot quicker than they're able to collect on their own using their own staff in their own office. You'll not only save them money by outsourcing their billing to you, but you'll collect a larger percentage of that money, and you'll collect it faster than any other company that they might want to use anywhere in your area to help them with their cash flow. But more about how you can do that later as we get into the webinar. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this little known business and tell you how you can get involved in it if you think it's right for you. Now, I'll tell you right now that this is not for everyone. Not everyone can follow directions, for example. Not everyone can follow our system that we've worked out. Not everyone can figure out how to market something like this to doctors. And not everyone wants to be involved in the healthcare industry even. But for those who have followed our instructions and followed our system that we've developed over the past 25 years, these are the people, the entrepreneurs that have gone through our proven training program and become certified medical revenue managers. And they've built businesses that can bring them all they want out of life. I just hope that you're one of those people after you hear what Eric and I have to share with you today. Eric, let's get started.
Yeah, I'm here. I think I'm right back with you. Yeah, let's get this show on the road here. Thanks, Patrick, for sharing that. You were talking about an award-winning web-based only type of billing and EMR and everything else that goes along with that. This is the core, really, of our business and really what separates us from our competitors and anybody else out there in the market.
Yeah, and as you can see, folks, it runs on any platform, literally on any device that can connect to the internet. It doesn't matter what the browser is, doesn't matter what the platform is. It could be Windows, Macintosh. It runs on anything, even the iPad, the iPhone, all on Android products and tablets. Yes, anything. You can literally take a laptop like you see there to a coffee shop and run your business from there because it's cloud-based. That means all you
Right.
have to do is connect to the internet. Now it's all HIPAA compliant. It's very safe. It protects all the data, of course, in the cloud. And this is where everybody's moving, Eric. Apple
Yeah.
and Google and all of them have clouds now.
Absolutely.
And that just means the software is out of our servers. We have servers in 2 different parts of the country, and they're completely redundant, which means if one of them went down for any reason, it kicks over to the other one and you would never know it. So it's very safe.
You bet. So let's get started here, folks. We're going to go back to this one screen here, and we're going to be talking about these 4 things. Now, Patrick, I mean, these are the things that will bring confidence to really anybody. And even today, working with our current group of licensees, what makes them successful is really the confidence that we can help establish into our new licensees. And it's based upon these 4 things that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I think most people who start a business start one because they have gotten that confidence level. At some point, they said, okay, I can do this. And you may be on this webinar today still thinking, I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't know anything about this business. How do I get trained on it and so forth? You're going to see, folks, today that we're going to overcome all of that and give you the confidence that you need to move forward if this is the right business for you.
Yeah, and folks, if you'll just follow along with us, now we're going to be monitoring the question area. So if you've got any particular questions as we kind of go through the slides today, feel free to chime in there. We'll do what we can to make sure that we get every question that we can during the webinar today. So Patrick, let's just get started off with this first one here. You know, confidence, confidently to know what your solution is all about. You know, confident people inspire confidence in others. And I think that's what makes other ABS licensees successful, is because of the confidence that you have brought to the table, Patrick, and because you inspire other people with confidence.
Well, as it says here, the reason we can build confidence in people is because we have the right training. We're going to go through this in detail, folks, but it begins with a solid training. And if you have the solid training, at that point, you've got the confidence, because the only reason people don't have confidence, Eric, is they don't feel like they know the business well enough to answer questions if they're asked questions. We're going to give you all the confidence in the world and give you so much training and background support that you'll be able to answer any question that's asked.
And I think what, even on today's webinar, what will help even build more confidence is we're going to identify the person that and other people that actually do the training. Let's just talk about one of our main trainers that we actually have, who is a CMRM. Well, what does that stand for, Patrick? And let's talk a little bit about Cynthia here.
Well, when people finish our training, just like Cynthia did about 11 years ago when she went through the training, we certify them as a certified medical revenue manager. Now, that's because, folks, it's much more than just doing the billing for doctors. You're managing their revenue from every aspect of their practice. And so this is a very unique certification that's given by the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. And Cynthia went through that. Now, Cynthia is a licensee. Like I said, she went through the training 11 years ago. She now has a business that is so big that she can leave town anytime she wants to for a week, and it doesn't matter because she can take her laptop with her and manage her people. She's got about 12 people now, Eric, that work for her, have offices that she, leases or rents each month because she wanted to have a place that was away from her home. She has 2 boys, I think 9 and 11, and a husband. And of course, it's nice to just get away from that and just have an office that you can get to. But most of her people, I think, work remotely from their homes. They're a virtual company, kind of like we are.
You bet. Yeah, and Cynthia having the confidence, I mean, so folks, you can hear what we're saying here is that you're not going to be taught just by just anybody or someone that's going to be reading off some sheet of paper that has never had any billing experience. You're going to be dealing with someone who's gone through the American Business Systems training, who has gone out there and done the marketing, done exactly what she was taught, and now she's teaching others. This is why it can help you with the confidence levels that you need, because this is going to be, as Patrick mentioned, a virtual training, which is one-on-one with you, with someone who has, again, 11 years of expertise in this field.
Yes, now we have other people that have been through our training and are certified to do the training as well. But for now, Cynthia is the person that's doing that one-on-one training. So you'll be basically on a go-to meeting. Actually, Eric, we're switching to go-to training, which has a
Yeah,
lot of great features to it. But it's basically this kind of platform, just like you see here, folks. You'll be able to turn on your webcam. She turns on hers. You'll be able to see each other, meet each other, and really get to know one another as you go through this training. It's 8 modules. Eric, it's about 10 to 12 hours of training, and it's very in depth. It eliminates all those problems that you have when you have a classroom full of 4 or 5 other people asking questions that might not be relative to you. You get
that's
that
right.
one-on-one time with the instructor.
Yeah, and it's all going to begin with the software. I mean, everybody wants to know about the solution and the software. And Patrick, again, let's kind of talk about this because really, this is what helps separate people that are getting started in medical billing for the first time with maybe some type of server-based solution instead of a web-based solution.
Yeah, there are lots of companies out there, folks, that sells medical software, billing software, but it usually comes on a CD that you have to stick in that little slot in your computer if you still have one. I don't even have one on this Macintosh computer here. But you put it in and you load the software on. It's on your hard drive inside your computer. And that's where all the patient data is saved also. And that's very dangerous, folks. You can lose that data. Your computer can get stolen. It can get hacked. There's all kinds of reasons why you do not ever want to store your patient data on your computer or the doctor's computer as far as that goes.
That's right. Yeah. And because that actually will bring into another solution that we actually have. And I think we're going to talk about it a little bit here later on in the webinar about HIPAA compliancy. And so
Yes.
we talk about HIPAA compliancy so much that, or we know about it so much that we kind of just not even think about it because, again, the iClaim web-based system handles that off of your computer. So you don't ever have what's called electronic patient history information or health information, the EPHI, on you. It does not reside on your computer. It
Right.
resides in the cloud in a very safe location.
Yeah. And as far as updates, the software is updated, well, you could say daily, because if there's any updates, we do that usually about 3 a.m. in the morning when most people are not on it. And we tell people we're going to shut it down for 30 minutes and do some updates. But that happens so transparently that you won't even know it. Every time you log in, you're using the latest software and the latest codes as well. Hey, by the way, Eric, I'm going to read this question from William.
Yep.
He's got a question about their trainer. He says, why is she training others rather than running her own successful model? Well, William, that's just it. She is running her business. She just happens to love helping other people. She's so convinced that this is a business everybody should be in that she has volunteered, and of course we pay her to do the training, but she's also got this other business. Like I said, she's got over, Eric, I think she's got 50 some odd providers now that they're doing the billing for. So she's making a great income from that. Her husband is a stay-at-home dad, so she's providing the entire income, and it's just something she loves to do, William. I don't know what else to tell you. You'll see when you meet her that she has a passion for making sure people get everything they need and want.
You bet. And what better way that you would want to learn than from someone who has been successful, knows what to do for the marketing, and go hand in hand with this. And so this is her giving back to what she's been able to give, what we've been able to give to her, which is teaching others also. I mean, that's just the whole principle of, just don't give somebody a fish, teach them how to fish. And so we have Cynthia here as one of our best people to be able to do that for you.
Hey,
So
if you think about it, William, the alternative is to have somebody like myself teach it. And of course, I could teach it, but I'm not in the business today. Our company does not do medical billing for doctors. We support and train other people how to do that, and have for the last 25 years. My wife started doing billing for doctors back in the late 80s, early 90s. We sold all of our accounts when we started signing up because I did not believe that I should be in competition with our own licensees. So you can have somebody like me or some of my other staff members, we'd do it out of a book. It would be book learning. Whereas with Cynthia, you're learning from somebody who's out there and doing it, and she knows what's working and what's not working.
you bet. Yeah, you bet. That's what you're going to want to know. Taran Kumar, I hope I said your name correctly. How much can you make with one doctor's office? That's a great question. Now, we do have other webinars and we'll be doing one in the future here about what you can make with one doctor. But let me kind of break it down for you just real quickly since you asked the question. You can make on average anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month in revenue with one doctor. And that's one doctor seeing about 25 patients a day at $100 in reimbursements to that particular doctor. You're charging that doctor about 6%. And so that's going to get you about anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month, just depending upon what kind of specialty that might be. So hopefully that helped answer your question. But be sure to go out to our YouTube page. There you're going to find what we talked about now, and we'll be talking about it again here in the future about how much you can make there. So hopefully that helped answer your question there. All right, so Patrick, besides the iClaim platform, we have what's called EMRX, and the EMRX is a customized electronic health records that, again, every doctor needs to have. The difference is we're not having to run two separate types of software, one for billing and one for electronic health records. All of this is combined.
Yes. Here's the way to think about this, folks. There are companies who just plug in software together. Like there's one company that sells software. It comes on a CD. They developed it. It's the billing software. But then if you want electronic health records, they connect you with another company's software and kind of plug it together. It's like using bubble gum and baling wire to try to make something to work. Our software programmers are all in the same room. We throw pizza and Pepsi in there every once in a while, and they are all working on this one system that lets you do all kinds of amazing things.
You bet. Yeah, and it is, since it's cloud-based, I mean, most doctors and most of the younger doctors are using their tablets. And so you got to have something that the doctors are accustomed to. And this one, not only can you type, you can use the system as it is, which is what's called that you can just touch through it, but you can also talk. You can dictate into it. So if the doctor doesn't want to touch buttons or type, they can dictate right into there and have all their notes right in there. Again, Patrick, you know, the last thing doctors want to do is have to do their notes handwritten and then go back to their office and have to put it all in an EMR system just because they're required to. We can keep it all right in front of them.
Some of them go home at night and spend hours just updating everything. And this is all done right there on their tablet as they're seeing the patient. So when the patient's gone, they're done.
You bet. Yeah.
They love it. Yeah.
Calvin's asking the question here, Patrick, how do you get the clients?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that question, because we have all kinds of methods that we teach in the 8 modules. One of them is solely dedicated to the 12 different ways that we've come up with that actually work for marketing to doctors. So folks, this is not like any other marketing or sales you've ever heard of in the past. There's nothing to sell, Eric, except money, right? We're saying to the doctor, look, we can increase your revenue by up to 30%. All we do is get a few pieces of information from them and what we call the practice analysis. And we'll show you a little bit more about that here later. But there's just no way we can go into that completely today, Calvin. However, there are webinars on our website. If you go to the blog on our website, that's under news, blog, and just type in there marketing, you'll see we've got lots and lots of stuff there on the website from previous webinars we've done. Eric, we've spent whole hours on just the marketing, haven't we?
You bet. Yeah, and Calvin, you see here that you're going to get all of this as you're looking. So what you're going to learn in that training workshop, or what we would call, our online virtual workshop now. You're going to learn all of these solutions, whether it's from Audit Guard to Auto Card to Compliancy Guard to Quick Collect to the EMRX, iDocs Now. All of this you're going to learn, and it's going to help you get to that first client. One of the things you're going to learn is who is your target market. Because Patrick, I mean, some may want to go after podiatry, some may want to go after cardiology or pediatrics, just whatever they want to go after.
Yeah, Eric, our support director, Tim, just told me today about a licensee who went through training a year ago.
Right.
He has 6 doctors that he's doing the billing for. It's about $250,000 a month in billing. And folks, he charges 6.5%. So if you do the math on that, he's bringing in $15,000 to $17,000 a month off of just those 6 doctors. So there's lots and lots of ways to market, but we're going to teach you how to zero in on the doctors that are out there in your area. And believe me, there's plenty of them that you should go after first. There's some you wouldn't want to mess with, and there's some that you'd want to zero in on. So that's part of our training.
Yeah. Zerona, you're asking the question about training. How long does it take to complete the course before you can get your first doctor? Patrick, what is the length of the course now? I mean, it could be done within the first week or first couple of weeks or whatever it might be. It's just really going to be dependent upon you and your schedule and your arrangements that you make with Sydney.
It really is. We basically have a calendar that we use to actually plug you into the first training session. Usually that can be within the first week after you sign up with us. And then you can schedule the rest of those as close together or as far apart as you need, whatever fits your schedule. That's the nice thing about this, Eric, is it can be anybody's schedule it can fit. And we'll go through it as quickly as you want to, but on average, people are taking about 3 to 4 weeks. In other words, in 30 days at the most, you'll be through all the material because there's some homework that you're going to do after each session and so forth. So we want you to kind of put a little time in between them. You wouldn't want to do them all in one day.
Yeah. And then when you get your first doctor, I mean, that could be pretty quickly right after training. It could be while you're going through your training. It can just be dependent upon the individual, which is the doctor. Remember, doctors buy on their time frame.
Eric, as you know, we've had people go through the training.
Sometimes we want it right away, but Cynthia's going to kind of work you through that.
Yeah, and as you know, Eric, we've had people go through the training, and the following week they've got a client because some of the homework you're going to be doing is learning how to make contact with people in your area who we call power partners, people who do business with doctors and will introduce you to those doctors. So you might have a client pretty quickly. Now, having said that, there are people who take 60, 90 days, sometimes even up to 6 months, Eric, to get their first doctor because they've got another job. They're doing this part-time. So it just depends on how much time you have to put into the business.
Yeah. William's asking another question here. Is this a system the doctors would adopt? You bet. Matter of fact, the 6 podiatrists that Patrick was just talking about all adopted this system because, again, William, you may or may not know this, but doctors' offices have piecemealed all of their software together. And one of the things that we're not going to have time to get into all about today, we may show you a quick slide about it here in just a moment, but our system is not only just the billing system, but it's what's known as what's called the practice management system. That practice management helps runs the entire practice. But what separates just that component alone from what other systems are, is that we have our own built-in clearinghouse, which actually helps us get those claims directly to the insurance companies without having to go through a third-party clearinghouse. That is a unique part of this system that nobody else has.
Yeah, and folks, if you haven't heard of the concept of a clearinghouse, what happens is there's third-party companies that have been set up that specifically all they do is receive the electronic data from a billing company or from a doctor, and they reformat that and they scrub it, to make sure it's got everything it needs before they send it on to the insurance companies or to the government agencies. We don't have a clearinghouse, and you don't have to hook up with a clearinghouse because, well, we are the clearinghouse. I shouldn't say we don't have one. We are the clearinghouse. It's in our system, built in. And folks, we have a less than 2% rejection rate. Now, nationwide, Eric, that runs around 30 to 34%.
You bet.
For most doctors on rejections. And most of them, they don't get time. They got too much going on to resubmit the claims. So they're leaving money on the table. Folks, we collect, believe me, every penny that we possibly can for that doctor.
And that's what, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit because, I mean, obviously your questions are helping us trying to answer your questions. That's what this whole webinar is about. So we want to make sure that we are answering your questions properly. So that's why I kind of showed the slide, and we're going to get into that. But, what we want to finish up with here is to make sure that you understand that you are going to have confidence because of the whole training aspect of what you're getting here. Because, again, at the end of the training, you're going to have a certification as a certified medical revenue manager. So imagine over the 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it takes for you, at the end of that training, you will have not only the confidence, but you're going to have a certification that you actually can take out there and utilize as you're doing your marketing.
Yeah, and William, back to your question there about will the doctor's office adopt this system? The best way to answer that would be for you to get back with your business development representative here at our office, the person who sent you the email to this webinar, and just ask them for a list of our licensees. We've got people who've been through our training, have started their business, and they'll be the first ones to tell you that, yes, doctors, sure, they adopt this system right into their practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along with the next question from Fuda. Hope I've said your name correctly, but do doctors frequently change the biller if they already have one? And they do, because a lot of times you're going to find out that the biller is probably either the office manager or the spouse of the doctor or someone like that, and they are willing to get that out of their hands.
Yeah, because folks, there's many other things that those people can help the doctor with in that practice to help the doctor see more patients. That's where they make their money, by seeing patients. So those people that are bogged down in all that billing stuff, we free them up, but reallocate their time to devote to the things that are profitable for the doctor.
You bet. So just kind of get it back on track real quickly, everybody. We went through the first one there, which is confidently know what your solution is. That's why you need to go through this training, and that's one of the things that we're going to help you with. Secondly, one of the key components of you having some confidence is that you're going to be able to show your expertise. It really is putting you in that driver's seat, or giving you what you need to confidently go, okay, I've got it, but I've got not only the know-how, but now I've got good marketing material to go forward and know how to actually display that. Patrick, you want to kind of share a little bit about what we have in store for them that they can use as tools?
Yeah, here's a couple of tools right here on the screen, folks. First of all, we have all the PowerPoints or keynotes like we're using today, slides, developed already for you to make presentations to doctors. So you'll either have them electronically that you can use on an iPad like you see on the right there, or if you want to, we can even let you print those out and put them into a nice little flip chart that you can use anytime, anywhere where you're talking to people about your business. In any case, we guide you through that step by step in the marketing as to what to say as you're using that.
You bet. Yep. And then once you've got a doctor that's really interested, we also help you show your expertise by us doing the demonstration of the software for you. That's right. We do the demonstrations for you, even maybe while you've been going through training.
Yeah, and Eric, I think right now our closing ratio on that, meaning the doctors that move forward with the licensees that see the demos, is about 50%.
You bet.
Now, folks, those of you who have any background in business or marketing, you know that that's a huge percentage of people to move forward. Since we're doing the demos for you, with you on there too, you're watching and listening, you get to hear all the questions that the doctor asks and the answers that we give. So we're helping you to close the deal with the doctor by just presenting him what the deal, what the system will do for him, and it blows them away. Believe me, when they see this demo, they're impressed.
You know, Patrick, I did one last week for one of our licensees, and you know, the doctor there was kind of taken back because I get to do that quite often for some of our licensees, and it's interesting to hear how their expectation is kind of thinking, oh, I've got to sit through some type of software demo.
Yeah.
And about 10 to 15 minutes into it, now they're really engaged. And the reason that they're engaged, again, folks, is that they know that they've had to struggle with their current systems and having to deal with a third-party clearinghouse. When we get to show them what we can do because we are the clearinghouse, that's what blows them away, because they've never seen anything like it.
Right. Zerona's asking, do you have to be in the medical billing field to go through your program? No. In fact, a lot of the people that you'll talk to, some of our references will tell you they had a completely diverse background. Cynthia had no background in the medical field,
right.
None whatsoever. And so, no, you do not have to know anything, folks. We take you from scratch, teach you everything you need to know in those 8 modules. Now, it's kind of misleading. When we say there's 8 modules, 10 to 12 hours, believe me, there's lots more training that you have available to you in our private website. We have a private website that you'll have access to as a licensee that has hours and hours of training that goes into more details. So we don't try to pour it all down your throat in that one, 8 sessions. We give you plenty of time on the back end to review as many videos and webinars and documents as you need on the backside.
You bet. Yeah. Vanessa's asking, Patrick, what is the initial investment to get started?
Well, we didn't cover that, did we, Eric? This webinar is not kind of focused on that. And folks, as you can see, we're not trying to sell you on anything, or we'd have brought that up ahead of time. But it is about a $27,000 investment. Now, the reason for that, folks, it's like a franchise. We're going to give you a complete turnkey system that's been proven to work. And with all the marketing materials that are provided to you, over 2,000, access to our lifetime support and our website for licensees and the training, all of that, of course, is included in that one fee, plus all the ancillary services that Eric showed you, those flyers earlier, about 8 different flyers. That's all included too. There's no extra fees. Beyond that, you don't pay us anything.
That's right. Yep, that's right. I'm gonna put those back up there so you can see that. So everything that we're showing you right here is everything's included. Your training, the certification, all the flyers, all the marketing materials, us doing live demonstrations for you at no additional fees. That comes to you as a lifetime. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about the support here in a moment. But again, another way to help you show your expertise is that we actually have a trade show booth. One on the left, as you can see, they're a very large type of trade show booth, and another one that's more of a tabletop. So you may go to a big trade show and say, hey, Patrick, I need that big trade show booth stuff. Can you send that to me? Again, that's also included. Or you say, you know what, I'm doing a small one. It's a small little group of doctors that I'm doing this trade show for, or a little whatever it may be doing there, and we've got that for you. So either one of them is at your disposal to use.
Yeah, those conventions and trade shows are being held all over the place at all times. We'll show you how to find those in your local area. And again, we've spent thousands of dollars on these displays that you would have to buy yourself, but there's no cost. You just pay the shipping, and we ship those out to you to use for those. So it's a great way to meet doctors because, hey, they're coming to you. They just walk right up to you like you see in the picture there and talk to you.
Absolutely. And then now you actually had an interview with Dr. Vicki Rackner. Why don't you talk a little bit about her and then how this actually helps shows your expertise out there in the field?
Folks, Dr. Vicki Rackner is a retired general surgeon who saw thousands of patients. She outsourced her billing, and she believes in it so much that that's what doctors need to do. She's partnered with ABS and helps our licensees to position themselves in their area as a partner with her. Now imagine the credibility that brings to you folks to say that you've partnered with a doctor who's written, by the way, a dozen books that you can find out there on the internet, a couple of them with me. And so there's one of them he's showing to you right now, 2 of them. Those books, folks, are used as marketing tools for you. So with Dr. Vicki's name on the book, your name can be added right to the front cover like Eric's showing you there as having written the foreword. And yes, you can write your own foreword. We have one that you can take and edit it, or you can just use it as is. But the point is, your name is on the front cover. It's also inside on the title page. And look at this. You can't see that, it's kind of tiny, but the contact information for your company is right there at the end of the forward. So you got your company name, your website address, your phone number, email, all of that's right there. It's a great marketing tool. It's almost like having a business card that is a book. And we teach you how to mark the book up and hand it to a doctor where they will look through it and read the things that you've highlighted and give you a call to have that practice analysis that we mentioned earlier.
You bet. Yeah, and folks, that's what, again, one of the second way, again, that we help you stand outside of everybody else, because it leads to the third one, which is you need to have a competitive edge. Now, Patrick, we got about 20 more minutes left here. I know that we've got questions that we're kind of going through, and I know that this is the way that I know both you and I like to do these webinars, is that we like to answer these questions as they keep coming in here. So if there's any particular question, Patrick, you see there you want to take, feel free to do that.
Yes, I see one right here that says Lorenzo is asking about the training. Is it on campus or is it online when we need some updates and work methods? Yes, Lorenzo, all of the training is online. So after those first initial 10 to 12 hours that are live one-on-one with an instructor, then we do live webinars for you as a licensee on a regular basis, and those are at no additional cost. We keep you up on what's changing. We show you all the new additional marketing materials that we've come up with. Everything that we train from that point forward is at no cost to you whatsoever, and you can just do it at your leisure. And if you can't be on those live, then we record all of those just like we're recording this one today, and you can have a link to the recording.
You bet. Yep. Now, getting into the competitive edge, we've already kind of talked about that a little bit because of our software, and I know that we've already shown this already once, but let me just kind of share with you again and illustrate this on the slide and then kind of talk it through with you. So this was to maybe one of William's questions here is, would our doctor's offices ready to adopt this type of system? The reason is because this is typically what you'll find in a doctor's office. You have a billing software that's usually stored on a computer. Many times it's a server-based system. That system is now connected with some third-party clearinghouse. So you can see that's completely outside of the scope of what the software is. So imagine what happens here is that you may process a claim, create a claim in your software, hit a button, and then it gets sent, as you can see there in the middle, to a clearinghouse. That clearinghouse has to clear that claim. If it's okay, then they're going to send it on to the insurance company. So there's two places that a claim could get denied, or what we know in our industry, rejected: at the clearinghouse and then at the insurance company. So this could take, folks, a long time for a claim to kind of finally get through and work its way through. The difference is, again, with ours, to have that competitive edge, is that we're the billing software and the clearinghouse, which means it's going through everything at the same time. So when you create a claim in our system, it can only go to the insurance companies. Patrick, this is what's separating our licensees from everybody else out there in the market.
It is. And remember, the advantage to the doctor and to you is that we clear more claims than the average clearinghouse does.
Right.
Most of them, when you first submit the claim, up to 34% of them will come back that you then have to rework. With ours, folks, since it's built in, we get that down to less than 2%. Now that translates into a whole lot more money in the doctor's pocket and yours.
And you're asking the question, how does it give you confidence? Patrick, you said that. You got less than a 2% rejection rate on your claims, and the reimbursements are paid now within 7 to 10 days, and it may not take 2 or 3 weeks. We're talking about a week, week and a half when the doctors get paid. That's going to give you confidence.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they love that. Eric, we've had doctors actually, the licensee has billed that claim on Monday, and they've had the money in their bank account, the doctor, that Friday. That quickly can happen.
You bet. Yeah.
Now, William.
All right, so let's move to the last one here, and then as we kind of go through this, Patrick, we'll wrap up here with some of these last-minute questions here. So the fourth thing that we're going to talk to you about is to deliver a support to you that is second to none. And Patrick, we've kind of retweaked our training a little bit. I mean, our support team a little bit. Let's kind of talk about what we've done with our support team and how it's even more active with our licensees now.
Yeah, you know what, folks? Being a virtual company, we can have support people all over the country, and we do. We have people from California to Florida because we have these ancillary services. We have technology partners that work with us as a company, and so that support is not just our staff here in Fort Worth, but they're all over the country. I think we have a picture somewhere down the line. Eric is going to show you of one of the pictures of one of our support offices with the people sitting there that we've actually visited ourselves out there in California. There it is right there. Yeah. And folks, there are dozens of people. You can't even see the whole thing there, but there's dozens of people who are sitting ready to answer your questions and help you implement that in the doctor's office. Yes, we help with the implementation, the training, everything's taken care of through our support people. And folks, we have people in support, by the way, who are licensees. Right. They are running their business, and they've had the experience that they need to be able to help you solve your business problems as well. Why? Again, because some people just like to help other people, and because they're interested in getting involved in this industry in different ways, not just running their own business. Hey, William said something about it. This allows us to add different subscription modules to benefit the doctor's practice. I think he was referring to all those ancillary services that we have. And that's right, William. You can add those to that if you want to. They're all optional, but you don't have to. Yeah. Yeah,
and then so folks, talking about this support, this is a support that's been evolving really for the last 25 years. And all it is getting better as we kind of go on, because we know what works better to get you the quickest information that we can get you. So that's why we do these live demos for you. Or if you need help virtually one-on-one with one of our coaches here, we can do that with you. So folks, we're really very much at hand for you to help you with either the marketing or the initiation of trying to help you with the implementation or the demonstrations for that directly to the doctors. Because again, we've known over the last 25 years it's going to take to actually help you get a doctor out there.
Anna is saying if there are no additional fees after we pay the first fee, how can you offer lifetime support? Well, that kind of ties in with what we're talking about here, Eric, because we actually make money on all the services that you offer to the doctors. And so we're actually making money on the back end without you having to pay anything to us directly. There's nothing extra that you pay. And somebody even asked the question, are there monthly franchise fees? No, there are not any. This is not a franchise. It's called a business opportunity. And that just means that we can do anything we want to, and you can do anything you want to as a company.
Right.
That's why we can offer lifetime support, for example. And we don't have any territories either. You can offer this to doctors anywhere in the United States.
You bet. Now, Patrick, we're kind of talking about this support mechanism that we have, and you mentioned earlier about a private website for our licensees. We're showing it right here, called our licensee support site. Kind of talk a little bit through this for us.
Yeah, folks, I know that's kind of hard to see there, but as you can see, there are different categories there on the menu on the top. And then each one of those menus has lots of stuff underneath there. And each one of those are pages that it could have dozens of recordings and documents and resources for you. Folks, there's literally over, let's see, we started this in 2014. So there's 5 years of data that we continue to put out there every week for our licensees. So it's very, very complete as far as training. There's nothing that you can ask a question to that we can't just point you to and say, here, watch this video and you'll see. It answers everything.
Yeah, you bet. And then, as we've already mentioned a little bit, you've got really 3 basic types of support here. And I think I'd like to take each one of these individually as we kind of wrap up the webinar this afternoon and talk about these 3 different types of support. First of all, marketing support. Patrick, we know everybody that buys into with us wants the first thing to do is actually get a doctor. We support you in that whole aspect. Once you've got a doctor, you and I both heard this. Okay, Patrick, I've got a doctor. Now what do I do?
Right.
A complete billing support. And then, as Patrick mentioned, we have a complete ABS network of support here. So let's kind of first talk about this whole marketing support. Now, you mentioned earlier something about a practice analysis. And I think we're going to take a look at a few of those slides there for that right now.
All right. So, folks, to find out if you can even help a doctor, see, that's why I said earlier, there's nothing here to sell the doctor because you don't know if you can help him or not until you find out. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor. What if the doctor just said when you walked in, okay, you need this medication and you need these tests done and these shots, and they don't even know what's wrong with you. See,
right.
So we're going to go in and find out what's wrong. If there is pain in the doctor's office over their cash flow, and there is in all of them, right, Eric? We found we have what's called a practice analysis. Eric's showing you 3 pages of it. I think it's grown to 4 now. But the point is, there's lots of questions that you can ask to find out where they're at. And we guide you in the training, by the way, through this step by step to tell you exactly what the questions mean, what answers you'll be getting from people, and how to fill this in correctly. Then, once you have that, you go back to the office and prepare this report, which is called the Practice Revenue Report. And Eric, why don't you tell them about this, because this can blow the doctor away right here.
Right. I'm going to kind of circle some of this because you can see that, first of all, this is what is currently going on with that doctor's office. So what we're going to do, that practice analysis, ask these questions. How many claims are you doing a month? What is the average claim cost? What is your rejection rate? We're going to kind of ask all these questions and then start plugging these numbers in. Then we're going to do a projection. What is the projection of what's going to happen if you do business with us? And we already know that our rejection rate is less than 2%. So we get to plug that in there. And then, as you like to say, Patrick, is what doctors like to see is what is the bottom line? How much money are you going to return back to me? And this is why we're not having to sell a software. We're not having to even sell you, because what we're doing is selling the doctor their cash. Patrick, what better thing can you sell to a doctor?
That's all they want to know is what can you do to help me cash-wise, because they're all struggling right now, Eric. They honestly don't make the kind of money that they used to because of all the rules and regulations and changes in the government health care plans. But when you can show them a report like this one, let's say that this one here, this is an example, of course, But if this were a real doctor who looked at that bottom line, $122,000 more per year, that should get anybody's attention.
You bet.
And it does. Now, it's not always that dramatic, but we've seen it higher than this, haven't we, Eric?
Yes, we have.
So,
Yep.
and these reports, we help you prepare these, of course, to show back to the doctor when you go back after that practice analysis and show them what you can do for them. Yeah.
And again, this here will give you that type of confidence, because you know if you've done it once, you're going to be able to go out there and do it again.
Yeah.
And it's all led in again by that practice analysis. Then with the ABS support, we've got the live demonstrations where you just go directly to our licensee support site, go to where it talks about for the iClaim demonstrations. You plug in all the information, and then we're going to get back with you and make sure that we do this live iClaim EMRX live demonstration. Again, that's all part of your marketing support.
Right. And again, folks, this is everything we're talking about is included in that one lifetime licensing fee that we mentioned earlier. In other words, we'll do these demos for you, as many as you wish, as long as you're in business with us at no cost. And so that means our staff people who are trained to show the system shows it to the doctor. Why? Because the doctor kind of is always interested in new technology, and they want to see what's the difference between what you can do for me and what we're doing right now with the software we have. So we show them the differences here, and you'll hear them gasp literally on the phone.
Absolutely. Now, we've already shown this one video, but again, Patrick, now we're getting into the billing support. And you mentioned earlier about implementation and education. How is someone that's going to just get out of their training, maybe get a doctor signed up, how are they going to know enough to really support that one doctor? It's through our billing support part of it.
That's just it. Our technology partners are going to guide you through that. Their support people get on the phone and on go-to meetings like this one here and actually train you and teach you and the doctor's staff exactly how to utilize the system in their office. So you'll be using it on the back end. The doctor's office has access to it as well. You give that to them or not up front. And so they have access to the system as well. The doctors love this area because they can see the status of their claims and their money 24/7 from any device that hooks up to the internet.
Now, one of the things that people are probably even thinking about right now is, I hear about all this billing stuff, but I know there has to be some codes involved in all that. Let's talk about the coding and auditing training that they get.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions here from Felda. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. She says, I read in the ABS website that by using this software, a biller can provide 9 different services to doctors. Are those true? If so, what are they? Now, those are the services that we showed you there with those flyers that Eric has shown a couple of times. This is one of those flyers right here, and this is one of the services that you can offer.
You bet.
This one, people ask all the time about, do I have to know coding? Because everybody knows there's numerical codes that are involved in doing medical billing. So the answer is no. We have certified professional coders that can do everything for you to help with those codes. And they're built into our electronic health record system, so the doctor can actually choose from the codes that they need to use right there on the screen.
You bet. Yep. Now, not only can you do that, but then audits. There's, Patrick, every doctor's office needs to go through an annual audit with their codes, just to make sure that, because the codes change so frequently throughout the year. A doctor may say, I've been using this code, I used to get paid on it, now I'm not getting paid on it. Why is that? Well, they need to have someone audit their codes. That's one of the services that we actually have.
They also can use the wrong codes and get fined. The government will fine them thousands of dollars if they've been consistently using the wrong codes to what's called overbill for those visits.
Yep. Or they could even underbill. They could be using those wrong codes, and all of a sudden they're losing money off the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Accounts receivable support. And again, a lot of people want to know, what about old money that the doctor has, maybe with their patients? Am I going to have to call up the little old lady for the doctor and say, listen, Mrs. Smith, you better give me your money? You don't have to do that either.
Yeah. No, in fact, this service that you can offer to the doctor can collect them for them more than a collection agency. So if they have past dues that are due out there from patients, this system, which is an automated online system, it can collect that for them.
You bet. And then as the year kind of goes on and we get into 2020, it's hard to believe that we're talking about 2020 already, but deductibles are going to go back up. people are going to need to start with their deductibles over, but they can't pay all of it at once. This service, Choice Pay, is one of those that can actually help collect and process the payments for those out-of-pocket payments better than just trying to collect them at the time of service.
Boy, it's hard as I'm listening to you, Eric. I'm thinking, if this is the first time people have heard all this, this must be a little confusing. But folks, we try to cram in as much as we can, and you can always go to our website and read about all of these services right there on the website.
Yeah, 2 more services that we want to add to it, which is iDocs Now, which is separate from electronic medical records. But this is more secure because, again, like us, Patrick, we're a virtual company. We don't want to run down to the office to go get something out of the filing cabinet. How about we just have it online secured that we can just go get it and everybody can retrieve it at whatever time they need it?
That's right. We use this here at our office, Eric. We don't have any file cabinets. You won't find any here because it's all scanned in and it's on the cloud, and I can access any of our documents, any of our legal, personnel, licensee, all of that's online. It's a wonderful system once the doctors, if they want to get rid of all that paperwork in their office. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the last services we're going to talk about today, because we got about 5 more minutes that we have for this afternoon, and that's HIPAA compliancy. And Patrick, you know that this is one of those areas where we're helping our new licensees kind of what they call break the ice, or kind of get past the glass. We're teaching our licensees right now how to use this particular service right now to actually start a conversation with anybody in that office.
Yes, it's a wonderful door opener, we call it, folks, because sometimes doctors, whether they know it or not, they think their billing is okay, right? Everything's under control. Now, that's before you do the practice analysis and show them that revenue report. But if they think that that's okay, there's still a way to get in and talk to them with all these other services. This just happens to be one that, like you said, Eric, is a real easy door opener because they probably know that they're breaking HIPAA's rules and regulations somewhere, but they're just not sure where in the office, and we can help them with that.
You bet.
All of these services, folks, by the way, you can offer to doctors or not. It's up to you. And you make money on offering all of these to the doctor.
You bet. Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's kind of wrap up here as a quick review. Again, these are the 4 components that you'll find in the training, and that will help you take you where you are today to getting a client, and you're starting to do billing. And as Patrick mentioned to you earlier on, right at the beginning, of getting you out of that rat race of working for somebody else and working for yourself, fulfilling the dreams that you want to have for you and your family. And it is confidently knowing your solutions, having a competitive edge, showing your expertise, and then knowing that you have a support system backing you as a lifetime for you here at American Business Systems. Patrick, once you add a few more things, we'll go through a few more questions, and we'll talk about the money back guarantee here.
Okay, so here's what it boils down to, folks. Again, we haven't made this real clear, Eric, because we even have a question here from Sarah. So I can be the boss of my own business in medical billing and coding without actually doing medical billing and coding. Now, we kind of misled you there, Sarah. You are doing the actual billing for the doctor. Remember, they have access to the system, but that's for the scheduler and for checking eligibility and that kind of thing. You're actually doing the billing through our system from your computer at your home, right, or from your office. Now, you don't have to know anything about the coding. That is correct. We are going to show you that all the coding is built into our system, and we have professional coders that can help you with that. But you have to actually do the billing. That's what you get paid for. So basically, you're billing for the doctor. Let's say you bill, I don't know, $100,000 in 1 month for the doctor, and you're charging 7%. You make $7,000 for doing that billing. And Eric, if they break that down for how long that takes them to do the billing for one doctor, it could be as little as a couple of days a week.
You bet. Yeah, absolutely. William's asking a very interesting question. He says, "What is the average age of your licensees?" He says their business, not their age. I love how you phrase that, William.
Well, that's a good question, William.
Have been with us for over 15 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, Eric? I missed it.
I was going to say we have licensees that have been with us for over 15 years. So I don't know what the average would be. 6, 7, 8 years, I guess, would be average. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one, William. There are people who signed with us years and years ago, but we were selling something completely different. That is, the software came on a CD. It wasn't cloud-based. We didn't have our own clearinghouse. There's a lot of differences between what we're selling now and what we sold back then. But the average age of the person who's actually been in the business, Eric, we go back, I think when we do our emails and things for our webinars, probably about 6 years. So
Yeah,
that's
I
probably
would
average.
agree. Yeah. Let's do
Because
the
people
money
move
back
on,
here.
William. Some people sell their business and move on to something else. You
Yeah.
know, at this point, if you got this business to doing $1 million a year and you can sell it for that cash flow value of maybe $2 million, you could then go buy that McDonald's you've always wanted to buy and work with the teenagers 80 hours a week.
That or those Subway sandwiches. I mean, just learn how to make sandwiches. Patrick,
Yeah.
why don't you kind of wrap up here with the how the money back guarantee works and what it is, and then if we've got a little bit of time left, which it's already the top of the hour already, maybe we can take maybe one or two more questions before we close out today.
Now, folks, I always have a hard time explaining this to people because every time I do, they go, huh? This is our guarantee. We basically are the only company I know of, Eric, in this entire industry of selling a franchise slash business opportunity that has a money back guarantee. And the reason we came up with this a few years back is because we decided, look, if this is not for somebody and they've gone through our training and seen all of our proprietary information, they know it all at that point, right? If they've gone through all our training. If at the end of that, they don't think this business is right for them, why would we keep their money? And so I've just decided we were going to give it back. And now we have, as you know, Eric, there's probably been, since you've been with me, a handful of people, right? 10, 12 years ago, we've given back some money. But that's up to you, folks, because we want you to feel confident in making the decision. Now, think carefully before you invest in any other franchise or business opportunity. Read the fine print. There are no guarantees from anybody that I know of, Eric. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Let's end with this here real quickly, Patrick. And I know that you need to get ready to get off here pretty quickly, but I'm going to put this registration for next week's webinar, because even though that we love to do different topics, I think there's nothing better than sometimes you just doing some what we call live interviews with some of our licensees currently. So tell us a little bit who you're going to be interviewing next week.
Yeah, we've got a lady named Jade, and her last name starts with a G, and she doesn't have any vowels in it, so I can't pronounce it.
But
so she's been very successful in building her business. And folks, this is your opportunity to hear from somebody who's actually been through our training. They've started their business up. They've got clients now. They've dealt with the implementation. All of those things they've already covered. And so this is your chance to hear them and ask questions. You'll be able to ask questions directly to that person. So don't miss it. And even if you don't know for sure that you can be on that, go ahead and sign up for it. He's putting the link, I think, in the question box there somewhere.
It's already up there. You bet.
Just click on it and go register for it. Somebody's asking about how to get the handout there, Eric. I guess that's in the handout section of your go-to webinar control panel. That may be a little icon at the bottom of your screen. You may have to look around there, folks. It's in the handout section there. Yeah.
And so, folks, we're going to wrap up this afternoon. We're already a little bit over the hour, but Patrick's going to leave this webinar running here just for a little bit. So if you need a little bit more time to get your handout and get the link, we're going to leave that up for you there. So, Patrick, thank you for your time today. I think the webinar today was one of those ones that just help people understand that they can have confidence in moving forward with American Business Systems, because we really will have their back in their training, the support, all the different 9 services that we have for them.
Sorry, I was reading a comment here by William. We were talking about the money back guarantee and that some people do ask for their money back. And he says, those are called quitters, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that reminds me, folks, we try to get to all the questions we can, but there's probably a dozen here that we did not have time to get to. Believe me, we have people at the office that will get back with you and answer those questions through email specifically for you. So don't worry, we'll get to all of them. Thanks for being here. Eric, thanks for putting this together.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much, y'all. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you very soon. Thanks, everybody.